I'm Paul Chevalier, and I've lived in Sedona now for 11 years and love it. First of all, should the mayor continue to be elected by the people starting in 2012, or should the mayor be elected as it had been in the past by a majority of the council? But there's a second item that may be discussed, and that is, should we move from a weak mayor form of government to a strong mayor form of government?
Guy got no spine, or or a bodybuilder, or someone who's a strong leader as opposed to a non-leader. What does that mean?
Yeah. I don't know how these terms came about, but these are the terms that are used. A weak mayor form of government means that you have a city council where everyone is equal, except the mayor is the public face of the city, and the mayor is the person that, following Robert's Rules of Order, runs the meetings. A strong mayor form of government is where you separate the two functions that the city council now has. It has a legislative function and it has a chief executive function. Under a strong mayor form of government, you take the mayor out of the city council, you separate him, and you make him the chief executive officer, much as you have in big cities.
So what do we have now?
We have a weak mayor form of government where everyone on the council, except for those two things I mentioned, are equal. So you do not have a single person as a chief executive officer, you have all seven. The problem with that is 7 people cannot act as a chief executive officer. Some companies have tried it with 2, and that hasn't worked very well. So you have no chief executive officer, and that results in things not getting done. It results in the council strictly being a legislature, which is really what it is designed for. With a legislature, things are put before them to vote on. Budget items, laws, certain approvals that developers have to have, the normal things a legislature does. And our council is equipped to do that, the way it's set up. The problem is, a chief executive is a person that's supposed to be proactive. Let me give you an example of why I think we should have a separate chief executive officer, and I do. An example is this. For years we've been saying that our city should have diversified an economic diversified base. It shouldn't just depend on tourism. But our city council has been totally ineffective in doing anything about that. I mean, there have been some studies that have gone nowhere, but if you had a separate chief executive officer, this is a person that could meet with everybody, put together a plan, and then of course have to bring it before the council for any financial approvals or any law change approvals. That's just one example. Another example is you have a city manager that now reports to 7 people. The city manager is not the chief executive officer. He's the chief administrative officer or chief operating officer, if you like. He's got to keep at least the majority of those 7 people happy. He's not running the show, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. So that is not a chief executive officer. We have none, so we don't do proactive things.
Is that what's wrong with our government in this community then?
You know, there's a lot of right things about our government. Let's start with that. We do a lot of good things, and we tend to focus on the things that we don't do good. But we could do things better. What I'd like to see happen, I'd like to see the council do 2 things on Tuesday night. One, put before the people a decision of whether they want us to continue with a weak mayor form of government or move to a strong mayor form of government. If that's put on for next March, people on both sides will get into the media, we'll get public meetings, and the government can also give out a lot of information so that people can make an intelligent decision. Then make a second decision. That is, do we want the mayor elected by the people or by the council? Don't just put the one before the people. We have a weak mayor form of government where everyone on the council is equal.
So is there like a political motive for doing this? Is it, somebody want to be mayor and they want to kick out somebody, or is there any that you smell any subterfuge in this?
Well, no. What I really see is you've got a city council where the mayor is not out in sync with the majority. And in the past history, you've always had a city council where the mayor and the majority were one. I mean, if we were to continue with a weak mayor form of government, a strong argument can be made to go back and let the council do it. Arguments can be made on the other side as well. But if we go to a strong mayor form of government, clearly the people should elect that mayor. I think when we went to the people electing the mayor, I think when the people decided to do that, that what they were really doing was hoping that the mayor would have more power. I don't think the people understood that the mayor has so little power. They wanted him to have more power. That's my own feeling. There's only one way to find out, and that's to put the vote before the people. I really believe that the people ought to make the major decisions in this city. Now, you're going to hear a lot of arguments that it's impossible to move to a strong mayor form of government. It's not. I've checked this out. There are a few attorneys that work with the legislature in Phoenix who we could retain, who could walk our government through exactly what steps are necessary to do it. I've also talked to someone in another state who actually does this. It's doable.
Is this action that they're taking a result of their lack of confidence in a strong individual as a leader?
I think really what they're saying is, this is crazy. We have a mayor that's out of sync with the majority, and we've never had that before. So let's tell the people that and ask the people if they want to continue that way. I think it's just a logical question that's being asked, frankly.
The mayor being out of sync with the majority, that kind of begs the question that, well, what about a balance in the council? We don't want everybody, a majority ruling everything. So would that not be the case in this instance, that he doesn't represent the majority, he has his own point of view, and the council, the majority of the council, have a counter point of view. So is this really about power?
If you had a separate strong mayor, you would have a balance. You'd have a separate executive that would be a nice balance with the council. The way it is now, all that matters is having 4 votes, and in some cases where you need a supermajority, 5 votes. The mayor has no more power on the council, so it's irrelevant. Well, I have a lot of concerns with the decisions of the majority of this council. But on this particular point, if the council will be fair and let the people also decide on the weak mayor and strong mayor issue, I'm totally supportive of letting them decide on whether the people should elect the mayor or whether the council should elect the mayor. If, however, they won't put the strong mayor issue before the people, it's unfair. Because I really believe when the people went and voted that they should elect the mayor separately, they were thinking the mayor had more power. So let's let them decide whether the mayor should have more power. We'll all know more Tuesday night when the council decides what they want to do.